No matter how long my hair grows or how thick my beard gets, movies like Only the Brave will always remind me that the true measure of a man's strength is not found in his follicle power, but in the strength of his soul to endure and persevere in times of hardship and trouble. In other words, what I'm telling you is that while I may look like a 35-year-old man, I'm really just a 19-year-old boy.
I'm so wasted.
I'm sponsored by God.
Only the Brave is directed by Joseph Kosinski and stars Josh Brolin, Jennifer Connelly, Jeff Bridges, Taylor Kitsch, and Miles Teller. Now, I have a small connection to this story. The story of this movie takes place in Prescott, Arizona. It is about the Granite Mountain Hotshots, a group of firefighters that risk everything to protect the town. Now, my connection a little bit to this story is that my cousins live out in Prescott, Arizona, and I actually want to live in Prescott, Arizona because it's an awesome town. But anyways, yeah, I have that small connection. I was actually there this last summer, and I remember I was walking around with my cousins, and they were talking about this movie, Only the Brave, that was coming out, and how they were hoping that it would be good and that would do the Granite Mountain Hotshots justice. Because I'm not going to spoil what happens at the end of this movie, but, well, it's sad. It's very sad. So yes, I have a small connection to this story, although I don't have an emotional connection because I didn't know any of these people, and it's Saturday football. My family likes Saturday football, so that was my family. I'm just gonna have to talk over them, okay? So yes, I have a small connection to this movie in a way. I mean, my cousins live out there, and they believe they knew some of the firefighters, and so this was a very tragic thing for them, and they're in that town. And so I was very curious to see how this movie would be because I had heard about the story. I kind of knew what had happened, and I wanted to see if this movie would do justice. So let's talk about it. Let's start with the cast. All the performances in this movie were great across the board, but I gotta say the standouts for me were Josh Brolin, Jennifer Connelly, and Miles Teller. Josh Brolin has now kind of become the go-to actor for the real-world man's man kind of characters, and he's great in this movie. He's basically, I mean, he's the he's what's called the soup of firefighters out there. I don't really know what the terms mean with firefighters and stuff, but anyways, he's kind of like the big man. He's like the guy who's in charge of the firefighter hotshots of Prescott, Arizona. And his performance is great. You care about the character. I mean, he's Josh Brolin. I don't think I've ever seen him give a bad performance. He certainly did not give a bad performance in this movie. I thought it was great. I loved him, and you'll love him too, okay? Jennifer Connelly played Josh Brolin's wife, and I thought her performance was really, really great. I mean, goodness, she really showed the kind of emotional strain that being a firefighter puts on a family. And I also must say that Josh Brolin and Jennifer Connelly's chemistry, I thought, was dead on. It was right there. I believed that they were a married couple, and I believed that they loved each other. And also, Miles Teller was great in this movie. I mean, Miles Teller has, ever since I saw him in Whiplash, I've been like, that guy is good. And yeah, the character development in this movie I thought was really dead on. If this movie were made and the characters were not there and you didn't care about them, it would suck. Not only because, well, for a good movie to be a good movie, you gotta have good characters and good character development, but also these were real people. And if you don't care about the characters or the people playing these real people, then that's kind of disrespectful to the real people. I think that sentence made sense. I don't know though. We will see whenever I edit this. But yeah, the character development in this movie I thought was just enough for you to care about everybody, and the emotional impact of the ending of this movie is just, it really got me. It really got me. And I can only imagine that the people of Prescott who watch this movie, it's gonna really get them. I'm assuming that they did the firefighters justice as far as who they were and whatnot. Assuming that they got that right in this movie, I can only imagine that Prescott's probably gonna have. Yeah, it's gonna be rough watching this movie for the people of that town, because I cried quite a bit at the ending of this movie, which leads us to our next point. The story of this movie is emotional, and it's really the thing I loved about this movie the most is there was a movie that came out a few years ago called End of Watch, and that movie, while it's not a true story, it made me gain a new appreciation for just how hard and rough it is to be a cop. What cops have to put up with, day-to-day things. They see the worst things of society, and it's a tough job, and you have to be. I mean, these guys, you know, there's a lot of stuff in the media about cops nowadays as far as, you know, the bad ones doing bad things, but there's a lot of great cops out there who do great things, and the fact that they don't all go nuts is astounding. And so, like, End of Watch really gave me a new appreciation for just what cops have to put up with in their job. And Only the Brave really, you know, I've never seen really a movie. I haven't watched like many movies that involve firefighters or what firefighters actually do, but I gained a new respect and appreciation for what they do, because it's a tough job. And these guys, I mean, these guys were real heroes. I mean, these guys were real men, and they, I mean, firefighters, I mean, I always had respect for firefighters, obviously, but I never had really thought about necessarily the details of their jobs. I just, you know, I'd seen commercials and whatnot of them saving people out of buildings and stuff, and that's great, and they're heroes for that, obviously. But I just never really taken the time to look at it, at just what their job entails, what they all that they have to do with their job, and it's astounding. And that's what I love the most about this movie. And when you get to the end of the movie, where, you know, as I mentioned before, it gets pretty tragic and very sad. The emotional impact of just I started crying. This movie is a tearjerker, and the way the story is told and everything, the climax, the emotional climax of this movie is breathtaking, and it crushes you. It crushed me. As for flaws with this movie, there really aren't any necessarily flaws with it. I mean, I guess it's kind of a slow burn, this movie. The pacing is not, I mean, it did kind of feel a little long, and I thought that the movie really became magnificent towards the end of the movie, and but like the beginning and middle I thought was really, really good, but just not incredible, not like, you know, not unbelievable. But the ending of this movie just, I mean, it hits you. Only the Brave, I think, is an important movie for people to go out and see, not only because it's a great movie, but also you will gain a new respect for firefighters, and I think that is very important. And for all those reasons, I give Only the Brave an A. So tell me, have you seen Only the Brave? If so, comment below and tell me what you thought of it. And as always, if you like this video, please like it and subscribe, tell your friends about the channel. And please have a wonderful day free of fires. And a way that you can have that wonderful day free of fires is if you're a smoker or you're having a fire, make sure you fully extinguish the fire, okay? If you're a smoker, you know, fully extinguish the cigarette, you know, don't just throw it out into the woods. Because if you do that, you'll piss off Smokey the Bear, okay? And I love Smokey the Bear. You can stop forest fires. You can. Smokey the Bear.